Hello everybody, this is Tara here today with a video tutorial on how to crochet these cute, adorable baby pumpkins. And they can be used as decoration for your house, or you can even hang them. So I put little loops in the stems so you can hang them for like decor if you want to even. I made a smaller version of it and a larger version. I will show you how to do both. Yeah, so let's get started. Alrighty. So the materials that you will need for this project are yarn. I used the Red Heart Super Saver yarn. This is a fairly cheap and inexpensive yarn, but you can get a different kind of yarn too if you want to. That's completely up to you. You will need a yarning needle when you tie off your work. You will need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You will need a pair of scissors. And you will need, some of this. Let's see if I can get this on camera. Well, I'll just pull some out. You'll need some of this to stuff your pumpkins with. And it is called Polyfill. You can get it at Walmart. Any craft store would sell it. Or another thing you could use is cotton balls. Or you can even roll up some yarn, like a golf ball size amount, and stuff yarn inside of your pumpkin when you get it finished. So that's a couple of options that you can use as far as the filling goes. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is make a slip knot. Put our crochet hook on. And then we're going to chain 16 stitches from our slip knot. Chain stitch, you wrap your yarn around your hook and you just pull it through that loop and do that 16 times. So there is my chain stitches, 16 of them. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some slip stitches. So to do a slip stitch, we're going to go inside of the first chain that we just did, and we're going to pull it through both loops. So do that all the way down your chain. So go in, wrap your yarn around, pull it through. row, you're going to chain 1. So go ahead, chain 1, and then flip your work. So now you're going to be working along this side right here. You guys can see that. I'm going to work on these chain stitches right here. All of these. But when we work these chain stitches, we're going to be working the back loops only. So I will show you how to identify the back loops versus the front loops. So when you do back loop slip stitches, you're going to do the loop that is furthest from you. So when I look at this, let's see, make sure you guys can see this. You're going to take your work. So this is the loop that is closest to me. Right here. This is the loop that is furthest from me. So I'm going to go in through the loop that is furthest from me. So the loop that isn't facing me, I'm going to go down through. I'm going to wrap my yarn around. And then I'm just simply going to slip stitch. And then you're going to do that all the way across. And make sure when you're doing this that you're slip stitching on this edge right here, not this back edge. You'll kind of see that when you turn it. So this right there. All right, so work that across all the way until you get to the other side. Flip it, and then you should have something that looks sort of like this. So we've done 2 rows now. You can see that. All right, so go ahead and do 35 more rows. And that'll leave you with 37 rows in total. So when you get your 37 rows, meet me back and we'll discuss how to do the rest. All right guys, so now we're back and we have completed our 37 rows. And if you're not sure if you've completed 37 rows, that's okay, just as long as it looks relatively close to this, that's fine. Just be sure that when you end your work, you have your yarn, your working yarn up at the top with the yarn that you started with. So where you made your slip knot starting, you want the yarn that you ended with to end up in the same, direction. So you get what I'm saying. All right, so then I've already cut my yarn. And now to make our pumpkin, we're gonna put our yarning needle on here. So just put your yarning needle on. And let's see. And we're just gonna tie off our end. So just go through your loop with your yarning needle. Just pull it through. Just pull it, pull it, pull it. And then pull it nice and tight until you tie off your work. So there you go. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold your work in half. So you're just gonna fold your work, and then we're gonna close our work together with the yarn that we left off with. And when you cut your yarn, I should have also mentioned this, when you cut your yarn, you wanna leave, just leave enough so that you have enough to work with and stitch in all your ends and everything. So I mean, I usually cut quite a bit off, you can see. So we're just gonna stitch this up, just all the way down. Alrighty. So just start up at the end. We're gonna go all the way down. down. Sorry. We're gonna go up. That's what I meant to say. Up through the top and down through each of these lines here. So I'll show you what I mean. So we're gonna go up through the first one, and it's gonna pull the top of this together. It's gonna tighten it. So we're gonna go up through the first one, and then we're gonna go down through the second one. We're gonna go up again through here. Stuck. So it's up. See how that's kind of pulling it together. And we're gonna go down. Alright, and you get the basic idea. So just keep going up and down until you pull all of your work together. Started at. So, let's see here. I just like to pull it really tight. And then I like to take my yarning needle and I like to go through the center a couple times just to secure it and make sure, just to make sure my yarn is nice and tight. All I'm doing. Turn it inside out. I'm gonna go through the bottom a few times. So what you can do is you can just take your yarning needle and just go under the underneath a few times. turn it the other way again. I'm just gonna cut my yarn off. You can just cut this excess yarn off. So this is where your scissors come in handy. I'm just gonna cut like this much off. So, I mean, I left a little tail, but you can tuck that inside here and you'll never even notice it because you're gonna put your stuffing inside. All right. Now we're gonna stuff our pumpkin. With our fiber fill. And like I said, you can use cotton balls or you can just roll up some more yarn if you don't have this. It doesn't matter. Just as long as you have something to stuff it with. So this should be enough. Like I said, golf ball size amount is fine. And then you're just gonna take it and just stuff it inside. I'm gonna do one more thing before I put my stuffing in there. I know I said to tuck this this yarn down in the center, but I'm actually gonna pull mine on the other side because there's something I want to do with it. So I'm just gonna leave mine out here for now because I'm gonna try to fix, see how that looks. I'm gonna try to fix that. So now I'm gonna stuff it with the cotton that I have here, fiber fill. Stuff it, stuff it, stuff it. I love making these. I think they're just so fun to make and they're just cute. Right. Let's see. So now we're gonna take our yarning needle again. And that thread that you cut off, if you have leftover, or you can just get more from your yarn, doesn't matter. But I have some left over here, so I'm just gonna put some yarn on again. I'm just gonna go through and do the same exact thing I just did. Go in and around. Same thing. To tighten your pumpkin up. Just a little more fiber fill. So yep, just the same up and down pattern that we started doing. And you'll want to start where your tail piece is. So if you left enough tail to weave with, you can use that too, or I'm just using new yarn, but make sure if you're using new yarn, just try to pull it really tight when you finish. so go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back around on the other side when I'm finished. Side where I started. Right. So now just finishing this up. And that's how you close your pumpkin up. So that's my pumpkin so far. Now if you want that squatted pumpkin look, and when I say squatted, I mean like your pumpkin's kind of like pushed down like this instead of just circular. You're just gonna take your yarny needle and you're gonna go straight through your pumpkin all the way to the other side. And then, let's see, just take your yarny needle, just stick it through the other side, and then pull it on through. Pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, and then just pull your pumpkin down really, really tight with your yarn. And that'll give it that squatted look. And then go through and do that a couple of times just to be sure that it's tight. And hold it. I would hold it, recommend holding it while you're doing it. So that way your yarn stays tight. dotted rather than just circular. It's looking like an actual pumpkin would look. I'm just gonna do that a couple more times, just go through it, just to be sure it's nice and secure. And you can see the bulges in my pumpkin are looking better too. When you go through and do that, it just makes it look better. And I also forgot to mention this in my video. I told you we were making the smaller version of the pumpkin, but I did tell you that I would show you how to make the larger version, which was this pumpkin right here, rather than this one. The only difference is when you make the smaller version is you just do the 16 stitches, the 16 chain stitches, excuse me. And then when I did this one, you just do 25 chain stitches rather than 16. So basically when you make these pumpkins, the more chain stitches, the larger the pumpkin. And also when you do more chain stitches, you also have to do more slip stitches and make it higher as well. So that's how you get a larger pumpkin, and that's all you really need to know to make it bigger. So yeah, it's not really that complicated. So we're just gonna finish this up. Sorry about that. Looks pretty darn good now. However, we're gonna have some loose ends, and I don't like loose ends. So, what we have to do next is we're just gonna tuck them in. And I just take my yarning needle and I just tuck in any loose ends that I might have left over. I'll just tuck them straight into my pumpkin. Just tuck them, tuck them, tuck them until they tuck all the way down into the center. Always try to tuck them into the center, because if you tuck them into your work, your actual work, it's not going to look right. So try to tuck them into the center of the pumpkin. Alright guys, welcome back. So now that we've finished crocheting our baby pumpkin, we are going to crochet the stem of the pumpkin now. So I have some gray yarn here, and it is also just the Red Heart Super Saver, just the cheapest brand I could get. We're still using our 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. We're going to use our yarning needle, and we're also going to use our pair of scissors again. Alright, so to make the stem, we're going to need to leave about 6 inches of a tail on your yarn before you make your, gosh, what's it called? Your crochet knot. I'm just gonna call it that for now because I can't remember the name. Or slip knot, sorry, yeah, slip knot. And then we're gonna crochet, not crochet, gosh, my head has a blank today. We're going to chain 9, sorry. We're gonna chain 9. So go ahead and chain 9. Once you chain 9, you should have this chain stitch and your tail. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of our 9 chain stitches and slip stitch, just like what we did with the pumpkins. So go ahead and do that. Once we chain 9, you only do 2 rows. That's all you need. And then we're going to cut that off. So just cut your working yarn off. And leave about the same length of tail that you left for it when you made your slip knot. So I'm just going to cut it about that long. Okay, and then I'm going to take my yarning needle, or my yarning needle, I guess. Take my yarning needle. Put it on your working yarn that you just cut and go through here. Just to tie off your work. So I tied off my work. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pumpkin, and you can take either end of the yarn, it doesn't matter. And we're gonna go all the way through until we hit the bottom. Just go all the way through your pumpkin with the gray yarn. Oh geez. pull that through the bottom. Okay, and then take this off your yarning needle. And then the yarn up top here, where our stem is, we're gonna put our yarning needle back on the other yarn. And our goal here is to create a loop so that, you know, you can hang it, or I don't know, if you want to. So that's what we're doing. So we're gonna go through just the very top of this here with our working yarn, just the very, very top, and that'll create a nice loop, like so. And then what we can do is we're gonna take the rest of our yarn so that both pieces of yarn are gonna be on the bottom. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just push this all the way through here like I did the other piece here. And then just pull it through. And then once you're done with that, you can just cut both of these strings, and then you can just tie them together. Cut them a little bit closer. Your yarning needle to tuck it in so that you don't see that, because I don't like, even if it's on the bottom, I still don't like when it shows. And then you have just made yourself a baby pumpkin. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you liked this video tutorial, please like and subscribe, and thank you.